there's one thing above all I pride myself on. It's my individuality. For me, it's important to strive to be who I am, because I want to be that person, not because someone else wants to be a certain way. But there are some who may not like me for who I am. My life is not 100%. Perfect is just a word. I am interested in reading. I like the goth scene. I like comics. I like movies. There are various other things about myself. And some may not like these things. Some may not like that I'm an atheist. Some may not like that I hold certain views, or that I live my life a certain way. But, I take pride in the fact of that I live my life a certain way. For example, take pride in the fact that I live a sober lifestyle. And I like that. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't use weed, I don't use drugs of any kinds. I've never done any of these things for the past 40 years of my life. If I'm lucky enough to live another 40 years, I will continue not to do these things. That's something I hold, very important to me. But some, for example, may dislike that I, don't like certain of these things. And, they may be verbal about this. But, I stand firm in my beliefs. I am who I want to be, not who you want me to be. But I can respect others and who they are. However, I respect those who respect me. Someone who treats me well. In the past, I've let friends go. Some because I didn't feel they respected me. Some people are no longer part of my life. Some I met are not part of my life and I've hurt them, but I didn't mean to, and I regret that. But that's the nature of life. Above all, it's about being who I am. Polonius says, "To thy own self be true." I hold that to be very true and dear to me. Being an individual, I think, is the most important thing in the world. At least I find so. In high school, you are put into these social orders and cliques, and these groups continue on throughout life, past high school and ordinary jobs and so forth. People seem to like being put in their small groups, but to be an outsider is to risk banishment from society. To be an individual is to risk being apart from the group. And yet to be a part of the group is to give up your own ideas, your own beliefs. To join a group is to sometimes give up who you really are. But, some join a group because they are afraid of being alone. Some seek to be part of a crowd. And, they hide their innermost feelings. They put on a mask, they nod along, as if they agree, but they truly do not. Some only believe in things more out of fear rather than faith. Doesn't matter if that's religion or politics or something else. Some, not all, some just go along just to be part of that crowd. There are some, yes, that actually believe in these things, and that's fine. But there's some who are just going along because they don't want to be on the outside. There are some who believe only in a popular viewpoint because they want to be part of that crowd. And yet, by doing so, they give up who they truly are. Not everyone is like this, but there are some who are. And some really, some of these people really want to give up who they are in order to join this group. Sometimes it seems to me it's either a choice of being the lone wolf or the lemmings. Either live apart, free but hunted, or live in the crowd. But what's the crowd doing? It's racing towards destruction and never asks why. Society likes to put labels on people, to put us in these little pigeonholes. Labels are not important. They do not define us. They do not tell us how we live or what we are. I may adopt a label for my own purpose, but this label does not define me. It's only something I've adapted for my own purposes. Whereas some, they are that label. Many seek to be famous. I do not. What is fame, anyways? Fame is fleeting. Fame is someone acting like a child, waving their hands, saying, "Hey, look at me, pay attention to me." At least for the most part, it seems to be that way. For me, I get bored of people who act like that. Maybe not right away, but eventually I get bored of them and I move on. And you know what? I think a lot of people do too. Because fame is empty and hollow. It doesn't mean anything. Rather than seek fame, it would be better to seek, common understanding, common community. I would rather pay attention to someone who has interesting ideas, someone who has something to say. Yes, there are well-known people, YouTubers, people on Facebook, various people that are well-known that I pay attention to. Why? Because they have something to say. Because there's something interesting about themselves. There's something that makes them special. Those are the people that are more important. Those are the people that I pay attention to. It's substance over glamour. But there's one thing that is a burden to being an individual. It's to be alone. I admit, loneliness is a heavy burden. In Children of Dune, Paul's son Leto II says, "Freedom is a lonely state." I think that's very true. It's not easy to be alone, I know. But it's this fear of loneliness that many give up who they are. It's not easy to find someone you can relate to. Someone who understands some of the things you do. Someone to speak with on the same level. Loneliness is a trial we must face, each step of our lives sometimes. But we must persevere. We never conquer it, but we must strive on. The other trial to be an individual is to be set apart from others, and sometimes to have people hound you, maybe even mock you. This is also something that should be faced. And eventually, you know what? You're not going to care what they say. For, a large part of my life, people, said negative things about me. After a while, I stopped caring. Now that I'm in my 40s, my ability to care about other people's negative opinions of me diminishes. It's going to increase as I get older. You're not going to care about the negative things people say about you as you go on. Because what does it matter? Who cares what they say? Go on. It's like the movie Red Riding Hood. The closing line had something that I really it resonated with me. To live apart carries its own burdens. Of these, I am less afraid. I think that's very true. I think it's far better to find a few friends you can relate to, family that supports you, people who appreciate you and who you appreciate. The ones that make life worth living. People who will be by your side, who who respect you and treat you well. So, to me, no matter the hardship of being an individual may be, it's something worth doing. Far better to be yourself than anything. Because see, here's the thing. Here's the important part. Our lives are so short. So short. And, it'd be far better to spend that brief time being who you truly are. More than anything else. Better to be yourself than something you're not. And then at the end of your life, you regret that, why didn't I spend my life being me? Not something somebody else wanted me to be, but being me. I would rather live my life, every step of the way, being me, no matter anything else. And, so I say to you and everyone, it's better to be yourself. It's better to be an individual and to live your life the way you want to be. At least I find that's to be the case.